Welcome back, everyone, to episode 6. I'm going to speed straight through the introduction because we are having a bit of a technical issue today. Joey's just lost power and Brian's headphones aren't Bluetooth connecting. So let's jump into this and get straight into our topic.
Could be a quick show.
Yeah. So Joey, you are going to manage, 40 minutes worth of time, right?
I should be able to get about 40 minutes. I've got a super duper battery running my laptop, so let's see if it handles it.
Okay, cool. Well, you're not going to be doing much today with the power being out, but what have you been up to in the shop?
Up until today, I have been making kitchens. Recently I've been doing a lot of this kitchen fronts where you've got a slim framed oak around like a miniature shaker panel type thing. Seems very popular. So I'm doing a kitchen. It's got a slightly different take on it, which I had to really scratch my head about how to make it. And I yesterday maybe posted some pictures of the kitchen island that I'm working on.
I saw that.
And so it's interesting. So the client wanted the same effect as a framed panel, but the panel's really deep. It's 40 mil deep. So you have the actual drawer or door front is recessed from back quite far, and in that 40 mil, the handle of the drawer runners is incorporated to the top edge of the drawer front, which means the side frames can't be attached to anything, so they are like individual packers between each cabinet, making up like essentially like scribers between each cabinet. And it throws a spanner in the works when they want to incorporate a door. Because you think about how kitchen hinges work. If you go and put a big fat 40 mil thick handle going full width across the top of the door, it's going to bind and it won't open. So in that case, the doors are separate and they are push to open doors, and it has a piece of oak going across the top of them to replicate.
It's just a cap.
It's just a cap that is fixed in place. And so then you have push-to-open doors inside of that frame, and it's just a lot of thinking through all the variations of what that consequences are for all of those actions. But a kind of a cool look when it's all put together, I think.
I think Dan from Bricolage had done a sort of a similar effect in one of his kitchens. I don't know whether it was set back quite 40 mil, but yeah, it's a cracking look. It's nice.
Yeah, it's so interesting.
Are there doors as well? Because the pictures you put on Instagram, it just looks all drawers.
Yeah, on to the right-hand side of it, I'm not sure if the picture is on Instagram, but there is on the so that's a kitchen island, and on the very far right-hand side, there's a space for a dishwasher, and right next to that, to the left, is a set of doors.
Gotcha.
So they are kind of inside of their own oak frame, but not attached to that frame.
Yeah.
And so it's pretty fine tolerances, but it seems to be working out. And having some fun working through all the different. This kitchen's got some pretty interesting features, which I haven't got to the tricky ones yet because I keep just passing them off because I don't want to have to think about the hard stuff. So I'm doing all the easier stuff.
Was this a client's design or architect or your own?
So client's wishes, and then there was a interior designer local to me, Rome Studio, Anwin, if you're listening, hello. She put together a really incredible design for the whole house and pretty much had spec'd everything for me. And in fact, she used SketchUp for a lot of her design. So she just passed me the whole SketchUp file, and I didn't have to do much drawing at all. I just kind of doing some bits and pieces, because the way I draw versus the way a designer draws, we've got different intentions. And so the designer's not going to put in all the details I would want to look at, but enough that I can kind of work off it. So that was pretty cool.
Yeah, it sounds like a healthy working relationship.
Yeah, I've had to put in some, make a couple of changes, like things like how are we actually going to do doors with these giant big handles on the top? It's not going to work. So let's work through some of those details. And so we've had a couple of good meetings in person about how that's going to actually go together and what we're going to do. But
Did you find it helpful? So you had her come to the workshop, or you?
Yes, she came to the workshop a couple of times. Yeah.
So you found it useful, like, to be able to demonstrate with like one-to-one, showing the finger pulls and things like that, or?
Yeah, it makes a lot of. It clears up a lot of all the questions. You know, a picture paints 1,000 words. I mean, you literally have a piece of wood and say, "This is what it's going to look like, and this is the problem," and everyone goes, "Oh, okay, right. Well, let's do it differently."
Yeah. I think the expectations sometimes of designers and clients about what hinges are capable of doing is like, it's just, it goes above and beyond. It's like, nah, that doesn't work, unfortunately.
Yeah, and I have found that when you draw something out on SketchUp, as accurate as you can draw it, like, you can't draw a hinge in SketchUp. Not one that's actually going to function.
You probably can, but it's going to take a lot of time.
Well, yes, I could do it, but I'm not going to spend 5 hours.
Yeah, but to establish exactly where the hinge point of a hinge lies, like, you know that the handle, you know the handle's going to foil on the corner, but trying to accurately model that is really hard.
It's difficult, and so then just saying, so I've actually got a mock-up of a kitchen cabinet I keep now, and I can just change out door fronts or drawer fronts, whatever the kind of design is going, and I'll just mock up a front and say, this is what it's going to look like, and this is potential problems. Like in that case, when we open it, just throw a hinge on a piece of wood and say, look, you can see here it moves, it doesn't move. And so we need to kind of work around that. So that's been fun. It's a nice big job, and I'm kind of about halfway through. So
it's looking good.
That is fun.
A few months ago, you were talking about some kitchens that were all held up. It sounded like there was a bit of a sequence of jobs that were held up, and so the money wasn't coming in as it should be. Is that all come and gone now? Yeah,
there was a big job about an hour away from me on the coast, and the builders were running behind a bit, and there were some issues with some things on the site, but that's all done and done. I'd spent about a full week installing all of that cabinetry, and that has gone, and I've been paid, and that is good for me.
Yeah, cool.
There's a couple of little things to finish off on that job, but I've been wanting to take pictures. I have put up a couple of pictures, like the black doors, and there's a fancy veneered vanity on that job. I've put a couple of pictures up on, but I've been waiting for everything to be finished, and it's just kind of dragging on a bit. But, yeah. And I have upcoming this year, probably in 2 months, maybe 3, probably 2 months, the spiral staircase job is starting. So, luckily and not luckily for me, the lady has decided that I will be making all of her cabinetry for that whole house as well.
Wow.
And the install dates for the stairs and the cabinetry are like a month apart. So I'm kind of like, how are we going to do this?
Are you going to employ? Are you going to take a contractor on or something?
The way, so it's a massive renovation, and she's living there while the renovation's happening, I understand. So it looks like she wants to get all her kitchen done first, and then they're kind of stage 2 is ripping the house apart and putting the staircase in. So it looks like I'm going to be building the kitchen cabinetry off plans, and not necessarily even being able to do proper site measures, because the walls will be being shifted around as I'm making stuff. That looks like what's going to happen. And then I make all of that, install the kitchen, and then we look at building the stairs, as soon as we can after that. So I may have to get some extra help. Not that I've really budgeted for that, but it might have to happen.
We'll fly in, Joey. It's fine.
Yeah, that would be good, actually. If you could just do that for a month.
No worries. I'm actually well overdue a trip to New Zealand. Got to get over.
You should come. I've got a shed.
See the family.
Toilet. Yeah.
Shed, check. Toilet, check. I'm in.
Yeah. Nice.
And there's no chance you're filming any of this?
Nah.
I had someone comment on one of my videos, because I spoke about you guys, and someone left a comment, I miss the days of Joey putting videos up on YouTube or something along those lines.
I get that pretty often. I get asked pretty often. It's so annoying to film stuff. And I love being able to work and not care about it. It's so refreshing. And I'm still like really just enjoying the fact that I can come and just work for 6 hours without stopping. And I don't have to think twice about the lighting or the angle or the noise or what I'm going to show or not show. Like, it's a whole other level of brain power that I don't have to use. So I like that at the moment, at least.
Yeah. Yeah, I am doing about an hour or two every night on video. So just editing. Right. You know, and I enjoy it, so I don't mind. But like, that's the amount of extra work that you do on top of the build.
Yeah.
So yeah, to just not have that, that's the amount of workload that it would take off my plate. I find
it just unattainable in terms of, and I actually did videos really when I had a full-time employee, I had to push through way more work and have more kind of turnover. And I was quoting jobs like every day, just constant banging out quotes as fast as I could. And so when your head's in quote, trying to remember everything for 3 different jobs in any given week, and then sometimes you get to put your belt on and actually do some work, and then you've actually got to then think about how you're going to film it and which projects filmed up to which point. Like, that's just too much for one brain to cope with. It's very hard.
Yeah.
So what else have you been doing, Robin, if it's not just editing?
Well, talking about YouTube, the last time we spoke, I had just told you guys that I'd just done an all-nighter to get a video out.
Yes.
And I specifically said, I hope it does well. This video is far and away the best performing video of years.
Well, it's a great video. It's awesome.
Oh, shit.
Concrete benchtop levels of good.
Not yet. So that video went viral. That's a 1 in a million.
Luck.
Not expecting that to happen. But this video is now sitting at 40,000 views,
nice.
Which, the last 10 of my videos have never got past 3,000.
Wow, so, fantastic, Rob. Well done.
Yeah, I'm so stoked. And one of the best feelings was finishing the video, saying to myself, I am happy with this video. I am, or not necessarily confident, but I've made a product that I am very happy with. I believe this will do well. And then it does well is such a nice notch on your belt, like that affirmation. So even outside of how it's doing in regards to its views and all that, personally, I feel very, very validated by this.
I think, was it this video, and I think your last video before that, you had a breakdown of costs and stuff. Was this in this? Yeah. I think that is so refreshing and, dare I say it, original in the YouTube woodworking space. I really, really enjoy. I would like to just see you. Maybe that's just my point of view, but I would like to see you do like way less woodworking in the video and way more breaking down of what happens at the end. I love to see that more, because, and I think just from the comments that I read, people really appreciate, and a lot of people were talking about how hard it is and good on you for trying to make money off it and all the rest of it.
And there's been some interesting comments as well, and I can see this evolving as a community, because people are watching the video from their particular perspective. So they want to see what costs money and what doesn't cost money. So for an example of that is, someone said to me, have you thought about the time that it takes you to edit the videos that you are filming? To which I said, no, I hadn't. I hadn't thought of that. That's a great idea. Let's put that into the metrics or the calculations at the end. Let's see how that adds up. And then so we can get all these different opinions or all these different aspects and add it in and see how it affects the profit and loss.
Well, that's an interesting point of view. Do you see that the video editing part is the same as the furniture making part? That for me, I see that you're doing two businesses, that you're doing the content business. And so I think they should stand on their own merits. But I mean, do you join them together time-wise?
No. I had actually at this point, I haven't been thinking about the editing at all or filming in general, because all of that is where I have spare time. So my day is
hobby.
My business is 3 days a week. I work from 9 until 3. Anything outside of that is not really relevant at this stage, because the main where I am, the main goal for me is to see if I can make this business viable. Can I make a profit? The YouTube time spent editing, if that's done outside of those 3 days, then that's me time. That's outside of the business.
Yeah.
The other thing as well is I can't quote my clients on the time that I'm going to spend editing the video.
No, absolutely
So that's
not.
why I've kept them completely separate, because I don't want anyone to ever think, oh, is this guy just jamming in a couple extra hours for his videos? Because I obviously can't do that. I can't just add a couple extra hours to the quote, because I need to spend time.
What struck me, do you want to say anything, Brian? Well, I was
you can probably guess what my feelings are on it. It's still it's still your sunk time, and it's part of the business. So like, I get what Joey's saying about there's two different streams, but I would definitely be keeping a timesheet of the hours that you're spending on videos, editing, filming, and then try to work out an average amount. I know it's really hard because YouTube's it's like evergreen content, and it's obviously, it peaks and then it dips off, and it might have certain peaks over its life. But yeah, now that your YouTube channel is finding its legs again, like over the next 4 or 5 videos, I'd try to work out like an average return cost, like obviously not counting for viral things and big peaks, and then try to work out your hourly rate of, whether it's returning or not. And I know that, it is it's like furniture making. It's a long haul thing, and, it's over 5 years, 10 years, then that's when it starts to grow and build. But yeah, I'd definitely be trying to keep track of your hours and work it out. I think that's one of the reasons why it put me off making YouTube videos, because I did keep track of how many hours it took me extra to film. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's an interesting point. I always saw it as, I think I'm a bit like Robin, where I really enjoyed the filming and editing part, like on one hand, and especially I quite like the editing, even say what you will about what I produced, but I liked it, doing it as a hobby. And so I just saw that as kind of hobby time when I had hobby time. Now I've got young kids.
That's the key thing, when you had hobby time.
That's right.
Because now, like for the three of us, free time is like minute, and right. I don't want to be spending it editing.
Yeah, you're right.
Because I agree. I did actually quite like the whole storyboarding of a video, and like it's creative. It is. It's interesting, but when it starts to be my free time, I'm like, I'd rather go for a round of golf.
Because it can just you lose the sense of free time.
Yeah.
You lose that. There's no such thing as free time when you're a dad and you're a stay at home dad, because you're in the workshop. You're also just around the corner from home. There is no free time until you put your head down at 10 o'clock at night.
Yeah.
Going forward, I am going to start not so much the filming in the workshop, because that's a really hard one to count, because you're kind of setting up camera next, but certainly the edit. I think that's an interesting one, because I'm ever since that person left that comment, now when I sit down in the evening and I do a bit of editing, I think to myself, shit, it's Thursday. I've done this 4 days in a row, at least 2 hours. That's 8 hours.
Yeah.
And I've done 5 minutes worth of a video that I want to be 20 minutes. This is it's wild.
Yeah.
So that will start making an appearance.
I like
right now though. Yeah.
Sorry. Well, I was just going to say, I liked on your breakdown of your costing and stuff. one of the videos, and it showed like how much you should have charged. I think maybe it was for that baby chair or something, the high chair, and it was like some $500 or $600 worth of labor you should have been charging or something like that. And it just made me like kind of laugh, because looking like the current kitchen I'm working on, cross fingers, touch wood, is the first time probably ever that I think I might like be under budget. Like I may have a couple of $100 left from the materials budget.
Jesus, Joey, well done.
And and it's taken, and it might just be this job. I've got bits and pieces I'm using, a couple of offcuts, and I've got some hardware kicking about that I'm not having to buy everything, but I'm buying a lot. I just bought like $800 worth of Osmo, for God's sake.
$800 worth of Osmo?
Yeah.
So they ship it in on a truck.
Yeah. And so, yeah, it's interesting that I kind of laughed when I saw your breakdown of what you should have charged, because I feel like I've only just got the hang of like how much stuff costs and how long it takes to do something, and how many materials I'm actually going to have to buy. But I think a lot of it is luck as well, especially with bigger projects. Sometimes you price something and you're quoted up price, but you actually get another price, and by some miracle it's cheaper for some reason, and you're like, oh great, I just saved a couple $100 on this product. And so like sometimes you get those kind of happy accidents where it's in your benefit. So it's a funny observation.
You've got so many different parts in a project, and as you say, you're buying it at different stages, so you can't quote an accurate price at any one point. It's impossible. You just kind of have to cross your fingers and add some money onto it for the unknowns, and then in this case it might have worked out in my favor, so that's good. Well, right now I'm busy building this office downstairs, which is going to be the next video, so this is obviously not a client project, so I'm not too worried. The next video is not going to have any of that breakdown either. But hopefully within the next month, this will be a different background behind me, and I'll be in a nice, properly audio engineered room. It'll be acoustically treated, and it will be my final spot. Right now I'm in my bedroom because I've got family staying, and I don't like having to move my office around.
I have a feeling that video is going to blow up for you. I've just got a feeling.
I have a good feeling about it too. I'm so stoked that you say that, because I feel good about this. It's a topic that it's loosely related to the business, because I'm building it for my business. But people love to see spaces created.
Yeah.
Yes.
And it's DIY accessible. Like it's not. You don't need a billion different machines to make it. Like I think it's going to do well, Rob.
I hope so.
Yeah,
you're
Cross
right.
fingers.
Like people's ability to comprehend a space, like you walk into just like my workshop, it's just a big open box, and it's a lot of people can't imagine what that looks like broken up into different spaces, or even like a big living room space. What would happen if you just put some kind of divider in and created two spaces? And a lot of people, I think, get inspiration from something like what you're doing, Robin, where you're making one bigger space, have a smaller space inside of it, and it still works for both of those spaces. That's just like really good, encouragement for other people, I think.
Have you got any like sort of build up to the design and sort of showing different layouts and things like that? That's the sort of thing that I reckon the start of a video would be really good, even if it's not SketchUp. Like imagine printing a plan and just having your furniture as like little scale blocks, and sort of showing the different layouts of the room, door placement, where your PowerPoints are, things like that. I reckon people would be interested in showing the different and why you went for the final one.
Even doing that, but saying maybe this is why this was my only option. Because of A, B, and C, there's a window, there's a door. This is the spot where it has to live, and so I'm going to make the best of it. And this is how I'm making the best of it.
So that's a good idea. So I could do. So I'm breaking this up into two parts. So the first part is actually just building the room, and then the second part will be fitting the room. So that could be in the second video, because I have done a small SketchUp drawing of the space with basically accurate to scale chair. It's amazing what I didn't realize. I only came across this a couple of weeks ago. You can get components
pre-built models. Yeah, it's
You've only just worked this out.
There's my chair. There's my 32-inch computer monitor. It's amazing. So you can. But having said that, as you say, Joey, I'm pretty much bound to one layout.
Yeah. And so that's I think that's just as good as an example. It's to say this is my only option for putting a little room in my workshop. How can I make it the best little room possible?
Yeah. Well, that's one of the intro hits on that is I've got a small space. I've got to be clever about how I use it.
That's right.
So again, hopefully that's going to be one of the hooks that brings people in.
Yep.
We shall see. And Bryan, what have you been up to? I'm just conscious of the time. We have 15 minutes left and we have a really cool topic to get into. And I don't think we're going to have time to get into it.
Maybe we should topic it another time. I've been good. I've been busy. It's been, a month? No, longer than a month since just the three of us caught up. So what have I been doing? Obviously that craft lab thing in Ballarat came and went over 2 weekends, which was good. It's the first time I've done any exhibition or trade show that's gone over 2 separate weekends. It's required me to be there for 4 full days, so it was pretty intense. But it was really good. It was really good. It was well attended. People were interested. They were engaged. I was quite impressed as well because it's part of Ballarat Heritage Festival. So I was thinking, there's going to be a lot of older people, like retirees and things like that. But there was a really broad range of ages came through. And even trying to explain, I was demonstrating one of the star map tables. So putting all the brass into it and stuff. And I was amazed at how many older people, and when I say older people, I mean people in their 80s and up, understood the concept with barely any explanation.
Right.
Whereas there were people our age were like, I don't get it. I was like, oh, okay.
What didn't they get? Like the concept?
They couldn't understand that. Some didn't get the concept of what it was. Like the fact, no matter how many times I said, this is pick a date, pick a time, pick a place.
Right. They don't understand that the stars move.
Yeah, they don't understand the stars move. And then secondly, I had a finished one. I had my dish table all finished and brassy. And then I had another one which was sort of getting the rods in, which was all stacked. And they couldn't comprehend how that turned into that. And I was like, I'd have to show them a video showing the flush trim. And they're like,
really?
Oh, right. So they're not stickers on that? And I'm like, no, they're not stickers. It's brass rod. So by the end of 4 days of that, I barely had a voice left.
What do you say to someone who thinks that they're stickers? Do people just look at furniture and go, oh, yeah, that's like a wood-looking sticker?
Probably.
What?
You sound so indignant, Joey.
What?
You sound so indignant.
In the land of veneers and chipboard and stuff, people probably do.
But it pisses me off that they.
I know. But Joey, it's our job to educate, right?
Yes. Okay. Fine.
And try not to patronise, no matter how many times I feel as though I want to do it.
I get that.
So that was really good. Got rid of a whole load of new business card, postcard e-flyers that I did. So hopefully the work will trickle in. I never expect a flood of orders after something like that. It's usually a year to 2 is when you sort of people will revisit. I got really good. Go on.
Have you got a timeline, kind of roughly of when you need to be taking more work in and ready? Obviously, you've probably got.
I'm ready now.
Okay, you're ready. Does a bank account need it right now, or are you?
Bank account always needs it. I'm trying to renovate a house, so yeah. Cash flow's good. Cash flow's good. Right. Obviously, not having a landlord means that there's less pressure. I'm not having to go, oh shit, I need to pay the bills. There's still bills to be paid, but so yeah, those jobs will come in, I feel, in the next year or 2. But I got really good feedback on when I launched the idea to people of doing classes and not come and make a stool and this is my stool and we're all going to make it, but more running design classes and treating it like a studio. Like I was talking to I think I was talking to Dan about it in the last podcast. So yeah, that's definitely something that I'm looking to pursue. Most likely during spring and summer, because as everybody told me, it gets fucking cold in Ballarat. believe it or not. But you can see behind me, the sun is streaming through the windows. But we've had some fresh mornings. It was -4 yesterday. It apparently felt like -7, but yeah, it's funny. I'm not feeling the cold as much as I thought I would. Yeah. There's no wind, so it's like it doesn't cut through.
It's inside is nice insulated house.
Yeah. Inside my mud brick 1980s house. I was telling Robin before. Sorry, go ahead.
I was going to say, are you thinking about insulating the shed? No.
Oh, the shed's going to be insulated. Sorry, I thought you were going to say the house. I'll insulate the ceiling of the house. The workshop, having spoken to you, I'm going to do walls and ceiling.
Yeah. What's happening with that, with the shed?
So it's lodged for planning. Mm-hmm. So now it's just fingers crossed and let's go. It was a bit of work to do it. Like they require like a bushfire management overlay plan, I think it's called. So it's all relative to the buildings that are around it, the vegetation that's around it, and trying to locate this shed. It just about fits. I'm keeping my fingers crossed, but I'm hoping that they don't have a problem with it in that area because it's just the perfect width that it's far enough away from the house that noise and sound isn't an issue, and it's just far enough away from trees that the branches don't overhang it. So I'm keeping fingers crossed. But yeah, the extra cost to insulate the shed, to get them to do it, like to get the builders to do it, was $5,000 materials and then 30% labor on top.
Okay.
So
that's not too bad.
It's pretty good. Like,
is that how they quote it? They just quoted the labor as a percentage of the material cost. That's an interesting idea.
Yeah, they do that on the whole kit.
Interesting.
Yeah, so I don't know if all builders do it that way, but this is the builder. I think I've mentioned before, my sister-in-law works for the company. Yep. So this is the builder that she recommends, and he's 30% of the total kit price.
That's a good price, man, for insulation.
Yeah, that's what I thought. It's
$2.5 for just my ceiling.
Yeah, it's Insul Shed, I think it's called.
Right,
so it's just like bubble foamy stuff.
Yeah.
So you're not going with earth wool?
No, not going with bats.
You need something rigid because the spans are so massive in between the girders and stuff and the tin sheds. You need something that can hold itself up.
Yeah, okay, right.
If I was ever looking at putting an office in, like that was sort of freestanding within the shed, I would use bats in it. But yeah, so it's going to be 150 square meters. A machine room is going to be about a third of that, and then assembly and display space 2/3 of it is the plan. So I've got an indicative layout, and then just waiting on council.
Cool.
So that's exciting.
Are you going to put a heat source in there?
I'm probably going to put just a split system in, I think.
Not a fireplace or something.
There may be a fire. So there's a little potbelly fire in the current workshop, which I'm kind of... I've been waiting every day. I'm like, am I cold enough to get it fired up? Like, I don't want to be, I don't want to be burning and getting used to it.
Sweating.
But I have a feeling it may be used today. But yeah, I think just a split system. Like, to be honest, so long as I've got my core warm, got my electric vest, my heated vest, I'm kind of okay, to be honest. But I think just having it in summertime to run aircon would sort of make sense. Like late afternoon, it's got a big west-facing side to it.
Yeah.
So yes.
Also, when I use it in winter is mainly if I know I'm going to be doing some finishing.
Yeah.
I just want to get some warmer airflow into that area of the building, and then I'll switch it off.
Yeah.
Just to take the chill off the air, and then it's mostly pretty good.
Yeah, and it's obviously the most efficient way to heat. Like, we're getting solar panels on the existing shed in 2 weeks, and so
nice.
So yeah, we're going to be all electric, and not that we've got gas here anyway, but we're going to try to produce as much electricity as possible because I'm going to be here using it during the day, so no battery.
It's so good, man.
Really required.
It's so cool when you're in the middle of summer and you can just put everything on, and you're still giving power back to the grid. It's like It's really cool.
How big's the system that you put on, Joey?
I think. Now you put me on the spot. I think it's 200 kilowatts.
220.
It's
20 kilowatts.
It's 20 panels. 22 panels.
That'll be somewhere between, depending on the size of the panel, it'll be somewhere between 10 and 20. But that's a big system. Like a house,
maybe 20 kilowatts.
like a small house, you'd usually go like 5 or 6 kilowatts.
Yeah, no.
So yeah, it'd be 20.
And my one
that's
produces
good.
3-phase.
Oh, nice. Yeah.
But you don't just. I might have asked this before. That electricity that you're producing is not actually running your tools. You're just feeding it back.
No.
Straight.
It's straight into your circuit breaker.
A battery for that?
No.
Nah.
So what happens
just if you want to store it to use it later, that's where the battery comes in. But the current payback on batteries, and with rebates, it's kind of touch and go. Yes, if you weren't home during the day to use the solar you're producing, it makes sense. But if you're here using it during the day,
much. We certainly don't get much. But the way the guys explained it to us is, so typically, I'll probably get the numbers wrong, but let's say the voltage comes off the power line into your house at, say, 45 volts, and the system, your solar system, is designed to produce power at like 48 volts, and so it goes back the other way naturally. It goes upstream towards the lower voltage, and so when you're making power, and it's going to go up into the lines, and then when you're not making enough power, the 45 volt overtakes and comes back in and flows the other way into your house. And so that's basically how it does that, and it just keeps going backwards and forwards depending on whether the sun's out or not.
Yeah.
Now, we had that cyclone recently, a few months ago. If you lost your power, your solar panels, this is what everyone tells me, your solar panels wouldn't run your house.
No, because
the inverter still needs to run, right?
Yes, that's part of it. The inverters still, the control system still needs to have power, and if you had batteries, then that would work. But it also, if you don't have batteries, they can't risk that you're still going to be producing power and have the power go through the lines when they're trying to work on the broken lines. Yeah, and so the system's default turn off. If you've got a battery system and there's a power cut, there's an automatic switch which just stops power going back into the grid, and you just maintain the battery use.
Gotcha. Okay.
The man to talk to is Jem from Like Butter. If you've ever got any solar issues on, or thoughts on how you want to do a workshop, because I think their entire workshop is solar, and they've got EVs and all that kind of stuff. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah. So yes, that's all going, and then as part of the Heritage Festival, I also did a presentation, which I need to post to my Instagram. It's now finally live, which was at the Rare Trade Centre, this amazing new workshop in Ballarat. So it's called Pecha Kucha, which is I think it means chit chat, I think is the translation. Okay. But it's 20 slides, 20 seconds a slide, and it's all automated. And it is I have no problem, probably from my background in architecture and stuff, and you've always got to get up and present your ideas to a studio, but to actually do it to 20 seconds per slide and sort of storyboard it. But I was I don't want to read a script. I hate listening to scripted. So I was like, I'm gonna wing it. And it turned out it was really good. It was well attended and stuff, and made a few good contacts out of it. Really good local architect, Mick Maloney. So I've caught up with him, and potentially got a couple of jobs out of that, which is great.
Awesome.
Including one really nice one that we're in the process of talking to the client about now. So the theme of the podcast that I was going to say was networking, but we're at 39 minutes and there's no networking. So we'll save it for another one. But I just think it'd be really interesting to talk about how we spend our time marketing ourselves, networking ourselves, and where you get the biggest return from. So Mick does a podcast with two other architects called In Detail, and they've got 3 episodes on marketing that I listened to in the workshop the other day. And I think so much of it is applicable to makers as well. It's not just an architect, it's how to run a business, where you find your clients. It talks about competitions, whether they're worth entering. Obviously, architecture competitions are a bit more, not more engaged, but they require a different process of applying for them. They generally cost more than a furniture prize. But a really interesting podcast. So I'd recommend that to anybody that's got an interest in it. In Detail. And I think it would be good to touch on it in another show.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got
you
some
guys
very
keen?
interesting points to bring to the table as well.
Yeah, you
particularly
would, like whether that market was worthwhile. Like looking back on it a year, when was it? December last year, 6 months
November,
later.
Yeah.
Whether you have had any more inquiries from it, or whether it's dropped off. Whether you feel as though it was worthwhile long term rather than short term.
Yeah. But yeah, let's save that for another episode.
Yeah,
I think it's a good idea.
sounds good.
Cool. All right. Well, get back to work, Joey.
Yeah, we made it.
Yeah.
Just as Joey's lights are about to go black.
Are you? Is this a common thing for you? Is the power going to come back on, or
It's not common, but
okay?
well, it's hard to say. Where we are is just right on the edge of a major area, and if there's a car crash or something, they'll just turn this whole area off, and then we're right on the edge of it, and it's not fun.
So you could be up and running today.
Possibly, yep.
Yeah. Cool.
Get the hand planes out.
Yeah. I can't see anything. It's pitch black in here.
Cool. All right, guys.
Okay.
Yep. Nice one.
Enjoy the
Take it
rest of your
easy.
week. We'll talk to you soon.
Catch you.
Yeah, bye.